let's get started talking about lighthouses, right? We all need to know about lighthouses. We do, we really do. And I'll get to that, I promise. But we're going to start kind of chewing on a few things before that. And I want to talk about how everything in life is a choice. Everything is a choice. And for those of you that have probably seen The Matrix, if not, you've probably heard about it. There is a point in the movie where the main character is offered a blue pill and a red pill.
Yes.
The blue pill being supposedly blissful ignorance that keeps you in the illusion. The red pill is painful reality. Anybody need to go? Because we're going to take the red pill.
All right, we'll see you later.
Nobody's running for the door. Okay, let's get going then. Because you know what? The challenge that I have is I think that both of these roads have their challenges, have their tough times. They're not easy. And the thing of it is your soul always knows whether you're just surviving, floating along, or whether you're actually living life to the fullest. And there's always that underlying knowing. And with living, yes, there's still tough times, there's still challenges, but that's where the peace, the joy, the love, and the laughter is really at. When it's in survival mode, it's almost always fear-based. And anything that you're afraid of is going to hold you back. So what is your fear, or what are your fears? It can be of losing people, places, things, or even death itself. We can fear those things, and that actually catches us up and causes us to not live life to the fullest. The sooner that we embrace and allow ourselves to embrace that in this time, space, and dimension, we are living in impermanence. Everything, it is inevitable, will eventually go. And as soon as we let go of our fear and our concerns of who, what, when, where, how, it allows us to live free and freer than what we are now. Now, it's easier said than done, right? Because we have what's called a created self. And the created self has come about by what's happened in life, what we've gone through, the stories that we're told, the stories we tell ourselves. All of this stuff is stuff that we coordinate. We compartmentalize. We sort through it. It's all of the programming that we set up as our default. We actually create our own self-identity. Now that's good if it's lovely, but sometimes it's not. And sometimes we're trying to control things. And whatever we're trying to control, what does it do? It controls us. So Buddha and Buddhism talks about it as attachment. Anything we're attached to is going to bring out suffering from us, because we're going to fear losing or not having it or taken away or whatever. And I think that it's what we cling to and we clutch at times and in hard times. And I think we physically get that sometimes people are afraid of losing their houses and their families or their divorces or their jobs or whatever. But I think there's a whole other level to this that's emotional and mental that is just as important for us to be aware of. For example, people-pleasing. Do you think of people-pleasing as being a fear-based activity? It is. It very much is. Because if we're trying to get our needs met from somebody that's not capable of doing it, we're compromising ourselves trying to do that. Whether we're trying to fit in or whatever, if people-pleasing is a fear-based thing. Emotional manipulation of either ourselves or others. If you can't handle your emotions, you tend to want to control other people's. And people that are afraid of their emotions or can't control them, they try to control other people's emotions. It's all fear-based. Well, what if they really know who I am? Will they still like me? will they still want to be with me? If they know what I'm mad about or angry, if I share and express, will I still fit in? All these things are fear-based. Even victimhood is very much fear-based. And these people have been through sometimes heinous, horrible things, that they didn't get the attention and the help that they needed, and they end up doing things like overthinking, overdoing, whatever they do to try to get their needs met and to try to get that attention. But it's really not even attention that they want that's healthy. It's still fear-based. Anger, any of the lower vibration energies, whether it's anger and rage or sadness and depression, are all at the core fear-based. So if, as Eckhart Tolle talks about, if we can become the observer of ourselves, and when these kinds of things surface or come up, we have a choice. Do we turn tail and run? Do we resist? Do we fight it? Or do we use it as an opportunity to grow and get better and release? So I've shared this story before, but it had a good point that I want to add in again in this talk. So you all remember the very first day that I went into foster care and I sat down to dinner, and I'm at the very end and I'm pushing the peas up on my fork with my finger. And my foster dad offers me a piece of bread. My initial reaction was panic, because I was already at a level of fullness. And having come from a background of lack, I swear to God, I think my mother would have rather taken us to the ER for a burst belly than for us to leave food on our plate, which makes no sense to me. We had storage containers. What were they for? Actually, it's funny. Elijah and I will sometimes, we sit at the table and we're done and we're laughing. We're like, we're going to put this in a container, put it in the refrigerator to either throw away or feed to the chickens later. Because we know we're not going to eat this. So, but back then, when he offered me that bread, it bumped up against my created self. How? Only divine. I said, no thank you, I'm full. And very innocently he said, you don't have to eat the piece of bread. Just use it to put your food on the fork. I thought, well, the finger was doing the job. But if I don't have to eat the bread, I can work with this. So something that sounds so innocent, though, blew the lid off my box. That box I had myself in about this, the lid blew off. And in fact, over time, it obliterated the box, because it made me realize that if I could question this about my created self, what else could I question? If I could let that go, what else could I let go? Woohoo! This is feeling lighter and freer all the time. So the created self is a foundation that runs deep, and it can be big. And again, when it's working in our favor, it's lovely. But when it's not, it can be tough and challenging. Sad thing, when they have baby elephants that they're going to use in service, they will shackle them in a way that they know they can't escape. And they will struggle, I know, and they will struggle until they finally give up. They can become a 14,000-pound elephant that can be controlled with a string or a piece of twine, unless they snap. But that's what a created self can do and how powerful it is. So when I was a child, because I think the dysfunction I was growing up in, there was a part of me that used to dream and fantasize about somebody saving me. That they were going to swoop in and they were going to take me out of that. And foster care sort of kind of did, but it was just a whole new bag of worms. But it was different, so that's okay. So I'm grateful. But what's interesting about that is my maladaptive skills that I learned to survive, wanting to be saved. I grew up to become a rescuer. Do you see how that worked? That was my created self. I sorted that out and I made it part of my identity. But let me tell you what, a lighthouse does not chase. It only gives direction And if a ship goes off and it wrecks on its own. It doesn't take the lighthouse with it. But when you're a rescuer, very different. Learning how to help somebody that asks, wants, is determined, has commitment, wants to work on it, that's a whole different boat than one that is anchored, that they want to stay where they're at, that they see us as access. They don't really see us as the value and worth that we are. And we're a convenience. We're a supply, not the love and light that we really are. Because I know this is hard sometimes as the kind of loving, helping, compassionate people we are. Believe it or not, we are not here to save anybody. We are here to save ourselves. And when you save yourself, you will inadvertently save people around you. So, facing these fears sounds really insurmountable, but they're just cycles. And if we feel them and we face them, we can work our way through it. We can learn how to stop overgiving, thinking it feels like love. We can stop overdoing, feeling like it makes us look like we care. Sometimes we overcompromise ourselves, hoping to heal somebody. But being aware of those kinds of things, whether you're a rescuer or a people pleaser or anything, the rescuer is an example. But if we can stop fixing and being a supply and let that go and really be the light that we're supposed to put that energy into, that inner light that we're supposed to be, that is when we have real connection and real impact on ourselves and the people around us. And this is tough, but if we can shift our thinking and look at it as an invitation that shows us where we've got any sort of maladaptive behavior that's keeping us from living our life to the fullest. So, as I was approaching 12, I say when I woke up. Because I think as children, we all see our parents as godlike. We all see them as what they say is gossip. You know, this is the way life is and we're just going to do it. Or we just feel like this is as good as it gets. I really feel like I heard the divine that gave me that hope, that I knew there was something better out there. And that these were just as much a flawed people as all the rest of everybody. And that was actually what I called a stop sign in my life. Stop signs are not bad things. Think about it. When you're driving down the road, it slows you down, makes you stop, makes you pay attention to what's going on around you, and make a decision as to how you proceed safely, right? Mm-hmm. So even though sometimes they can be irritating when you're running late or whatever, but in general, stop signs are good things because it makes us stop and think. And in life, it makes us stop and think about, wait a minute, what's going on around me? And how can I safely and in my best interest proceed forward? So these stop signs are not bad things, they're good things. If we can learn how, that's how a lighthouse doesn't judge anything. A lighthouse just does what it does. It's the mindset in which it does it. You know, and our emotions are incredible guides as we're going through this. Because whether we're doing the victim or whether we're doing the stuckness or whatever, when we get into telling stories about ourselves and we have, you know, we clench our fists, our teeth, maybe our voice changes, be aware. Maybe it's time to let that go. That happened 30 years ago. Right? And it's not just 30 years ago. It could be 3 years ago. It could be 3 weeks ago. But you all know, I see you shaking your heads, and let's be honest. I'd like to be able to say that it's everybody else, but I do it sometimes too. But it's not a bad thing to go, ooh, look at me. Not a judgment of good, bad, right, or wrong. Just an awareness of looking at, this is an opportunity for me to let this go. This is luggage I don't want to be carrying. It's too heavy. It's not necessary. Because right here, right now, today, you have the energy to deal with whatever day you're going to have. Make choices and deal with it. You don't have tomorrow's and the next day's energy to deal with that stuff. Plus, that's hypothetical. We don't even know. And the past energy, you've already expended into that. Be in the now. and be here and use your energy to be that light, be the divineness that you're meant to be. So we've mentioned a few things, and I'm going to bullet point a few more about ways to continue to be the lighthouse. So accept things as if you chose it, no matter what it is. Okay? Because calmness flows through acceptance. Did you feel that? So let's talk about last weekend's Sunday service. Whether you were here or not here, up here or back there, if it could have gone wrong, it did. It was a crazy weekend. It really was. But do you know what? The music was great. The talk was great. The inspirational moment was awesome. The community pulled together and was supportive. It was for those of you that were here, it was a great service.
Yes, amazing.
Yes, it was good dancing, everything. It was good. So why? Why did it, when everything went wrong, why did it go good? You know why? We didn't resist it. We didn't fight it. We didn't argue it. We're just like, this is the way it is. It is. When learning how to stay steady and be grounded in uncertainty is strength and it's growth. So when Tony, the front desk guy, had done everything he could, that the sound system wouldn't work in any of the rooms, there was no options, I said, no problem. We're going to experience service without a mic. It's okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was like, and again, not fighting it, just going with the flow. And it actually turned out more beautiful. They're all beautiful, but it did. So true peace doesn't wait for things to settle down or change. It just stands while it allows things to move around it. When we can learn to breathe and relax and put ourselves in the moment, we attract more of the calm. We attract more of the flow. We put our attention where it wants and needs to go, and that is into you and the you that you want to be. Okay? Rumi talks about the universe not being outside of us, but inside of us. Everything that you need and want is already in you. It's about learning how to quiet things and be still so that you can hear that quiet inner voice within you. That's what a lighthouse does. It just, people think that it just stands there and doesn't do much of anything. They couldn't be more wrong. A lighthouse provides guidance. It ensures safety through rough times. It helps ships and cargo and people through perils. It guides in and out of harbors and ports. But it doesn't get out in the water and beg. No, don't go that way. Don't go that way. No, I need you to come this way. There's less rocks here. This is deeper over here. It doesn't do that. It just stands strong without sacrificing, without fear. It stands, it's calm, it's reliable, it's consistent, and it's peaceful. I don't know if any of you guys ever visited a lighthouse. It actually does have a certain serenity and peacefulness to them. It's interesting because they're built strong to survive storms that sometimes they're the only thing left standing. So stand where you're meant to shine.